dirt. There we go. All right. So we are live to talk about donkeys. When you hop on, let us know where you're watching from. Let's see, messages. All right. We're just waiting for Dan to come out here. So again, when you know where you're watching from, what have you been up to today with your donkeys? It's been a beautiful Sunday. Today is a rare day where I have not done much in the way of training at all. I cleaned pens, filled up all the water troughs. Wild donkeys, you have to keep the water troughs just tippy-top full. So with wilds, we're filling them up every day, all the time, tippy-top full. And the reason is the wilds, they get so nervous about putting their heads into the water trough. They don't want to put their head down there and kind of like block their vision or anything. We notice is that just with a couple inches low, they won't drink. So we just make sure we keep them full. So again, we're talking today about donkeys, feet, and farriers. If you've ever been calling up for a new farrier and been told that we don't do donkeys or that they don't do donkeys or mules, that happened to us recently. So we're just waiting. Let us know where you're watching. Hop on. We're just still waiting for Dan to get his hiney out here. All the puppies are out. All right, so what we're going to talk about is why some farriers won't trim a donkey or a mule. And like recently, we just called up for a new farrier, and when we told him we had donkeys and mules, he said he doesn't do donkeys and mules. Now, we talked with him, and he is going to come out for our donkeys right now. So Dan explained to him how we have a YouTube channel, Training Wild Burros, and that we do a lot of conversations about making sure your donkeys are ready for the farrier. Look who shows up.
Late for work. Everybody.
Donkey Dan. So I was just telling him how we called the farrier, and the farrier says, I don't do donkeys.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite because we've had Seamus for, I think, 11 years. And I don't think we've ever heard we don't do donkeys. I've heard other people say that their farriers won't do donkeys.
Yeah, I've heard from others where they live that can't find anybody to do donkey feet.
Now, I think when I've called a farrier before, I've never told them I have donkeys. I just call, because we've always had one donkey. We've had Seamus. Well, not always, but for the last 11 years, right? And then we had horses and mules. So I never told them. I just said I need a farrier. So this was a big shock to you.
Oh, yeah. We've got dust on the camera.
The camera is fine. The screen
Okay,
has
right.
slobber, okay. Dog slobber on it.
Dog slobber.
There's dog slobber everywhere. So we happen to be looking for a new farrier right now, and the one of the guys from Ridge Riders, the horse group that we belong to, said, oh, I have a farrier. So Dan got his number and called him up. We want to make sure that our farrier understands donkey feet because they are a little bit different than a foot. They are not just a small horse. They're different, and they need to be trimmed differently.
Yeah, donkey is not a funny looking horse. It's a whole different animal. You know, the farrier, I look forward to working with him, but he kind of asked him about, do you know about the angle on a donkey's feet? He's like, no, I don't do donkeys or mules.
He does know about him. He says he does know about them, and he has trimmed them, but
he's run into too many people who, you've heard this before, it's the farrier's job to train their donkey with their feet. Mm-hmm. And donkeys are getting quite popular, and farriers are running into this. They show up to a house with a donkey who needs a trim, and the donkey's quite naughty with his feet.
And they don't have to be, guys. It's so simple for the donkeys. Our donkeys, we have one who's never been trimmed by a farrier that hopefully she does good, but we've been preparing her.
Yes.
Excuse me.
So we've prepared her. Now we're going to prepare her some more. So MaryJo just brought her in, and so over the next 3 days before the farrier gets here, she's going to get a
refresher course. Now,
this way the new farrier likes us.
Seamus was our first donkey, and he was not for the farrier when we first got him. And then later on, Hannah got her first mammoth donkey, and it was a baby. And we were able to get that donkey's feet trimmed, but not filed. The donkey would not file. I had reached out to an expert to help me know what to do, and they said just put their head in a bowl of oats, and then they'll stand for it. But that did not work, guys. Like just giving them food did not help the donkey okay with having their feet filed. And then you have another one is getting their up onto the farrier stand.
That is a biggie. That's a scary one. It really is. Yeah.
Now the farrier can trim without putting their foot up onto that stand. So when you have a new one, whether or donkey, they might not be ready for that part yet.
Right.
And that's okay to take things down. But this farrier was just like, I'm not working with animals that aren't gonna stand nicely for the farrier because they're hard work. When I go trim our wilds because they're ready for the farrier yet, my body is tired after trimming.
Yeah, think about spending all day with your head lower than your waist.
Yeah. And then having them like pull or even worse, kick or something, right? So, put in the comments, guys, have you guys ever been told that your farrier will not do donkeys? Like, uh-oh, right? What are we going to do? Our donkeys need to be trimmed. So, with a donkey, if they're in any animal, kicking, or if they're jerking away, if they're leaning, remember how Elton was leaning on me?
Uh-huh.
We had to work through that, guys. Or they won't hold their foot up, or they're moving, or they just haven't been prepared. So that's the stuff we're going to talk about, what we can do so our donkey is actually ready for that farrier when they get there. It's not your donkey's job. It's not your farrier's job to train them. It's our responsibility as donkey owners. Do you have more to add to that right now?
No, it's just to keep pounding on that drum to everyone we're working with to understand that work with your donkey's feet and know how they behave, work any issues before your farrier gets there.
So something that we noticed with training wilds, and this stuff applies to any, if they're wild or domestic, if they're an old pro, or like one of the first things we start doing when we're teaching a wild or a new one to start picking up their feet is we're only holding it for, heck, with Nula, like trying to put my arm, like when I try to get her to pick up her foot, I'm just trying to touch it like this, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's scary. We have to graduate them to all these different steps.
Absolutely. And not all donkeys are going to be textbook perfect with their lifting up their feet. Like my donkey, a big old giant cold-blooded mammoth donkey, a big sweetheart. She lifts up her feet just fine if you have a lot of patience. What happens if you have that back foot and say foot and pull on it?
She would get very upset.
She'll kick, yeah. But if we go through the process and wait the 15 seconds or whatever, watch her shift around, she'll lift that foot up as light as can be. So your donkey inform the farrier how each donkey reacts to interactions with the farrier.
Now, when we're going to pick up their feet, if we're just like trying to pull and get them to pick it up, and we're not trying to get to their mind, it's not going to sting. Now, this is going to go against what everybody teaches. Everybody teaches pick up your donkeys or your equine's feet every single day. And we don't do that. We don't pick them up every day.
No.
But every single time that we do pick them up, we go slow enough that we're getting to their mind so that they'll be good.
Yep.
They'll be good when it's time to do it because we're always giving them that respect. Then they need to learn to hold it up for a longer time or in different positions. And then, of course, all 4 feet, not just like they're good with their fronts or they're good with their backs. They need to do it with all of them. Because if they're not, well, then the farriers problem and they're not going to want to come back. Even if they do trim donkeys' feet on a basis, they want to have donkeys that are good and they stand nicely for them.
You know, and the farrier wants to focus on doing a good job, good angle, a good clean trim, not surviving the day. And this is going to be hard for some people to hear. You know, a lot of animals, not all, some, they've got that one foot that's much more challenging than the rest.
We're going to talk about that a lot.
Yeah, that's the foot you go with. You don't be like, oh, we can't do Charlie's foot because he always kicks with that one. Oh, no, he's got one foot. You work on that foot, okay? That's not your farrier's job.
When we're working with feet, this is just a number I kind of pulled out of the air, but we we pick up each foot typically 3 times each foot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like with awe and honk, don't do that unless they're kind of sticky with it. If they're a little bit sticky, we will pick it up 3
Yeah.
times. With Seamus, I don't do that anymore. Now, another we need to get our donkeys okay with is a stranger, being around them, picking up their feet, brushing,
Mm-hmm.
any of this stuff, because donkeys do really need that trust. And over time, that trust will transfer. After they have enough experience, trust will transfer to a stranger, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have a lot of time with them, getting to their mind, not just the task that we're trying to do.
Yep.
We don't want them to be leaning on farrier. And if they are, like when Elton was leaning on me when I was picking up his foot, there was a few things. He was just a timid donkey. He was a little bit nervous about being tied up in the barn, I think. A little bit nervous about where you were standing.
Mm-hmm.
And then his legs were too close together. Donkeys really like their balance.
Yep.
And his front legs were too close together. And once we got him to square up better, he got a lot lighter.
Too close together, and we couldn't see anything in the hooves. I mean, his feet were tight together.
Now, when we were preparing Elton for his farrier visit, which he did not have one, it was just before he left, we had 1 foot one day, 2 feet the second day, and then we spent 3 days before we could get the foot up where I could do just a very light trim, because I am not a farrier. Dan's not a farrier.
Right.
And why did we spend 3 days foot? Because he needed it. I needed to get to his mind, not to be able to pick up his foot. I pick it up and put it on my knee. But he would be so heavy and leaning on me. So then when he did that, I would wait till I could get him light. And then we went that day.
Yep.
So I was like, we went in there with the intention of trimming his foot, but he's not ready for it today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more important to get to their mind, because when we show them that respect, then they're going to give it twofold.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
So I have a little spreadsheet to talk about things so I don't forget.
Others might talk about
Surprise.
the weather or something.
So experience with donkey feet matters, and you kind of already talked about this, but their hoofs are different. Like they need to have their heels a little bit longer than a horse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not an expert on this stuff, guys, but so their heels a little bit than a horse's heels, and then their sole, if I understand correctly, offers more. They need their sole more than a horse needs their sole.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We're not farriers, but as I understand it, that sole, the palm of their foot, is very important structurally. So with a horse's hoof, you see them with the knife carving out quite a bit of that sole. It's got the nice looking foot. It's important to leave a lot more sole on a donkey. It does actually carry some of their weight, not just a hoof wall.
And it's different than a horse. So this is stuff that the farrier needs to understand. We've had donkeys for 11 years. I knew that a donkey's feet were different, but I always just trusted my farrier to do what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And our last trim taught us a lot. So we had, it was a new farrier, and he trimmed the horses, mules, donkeys. So we had 3 riding donkeys that he trimmed. And afterwards, all of them acted different.
I think that ouchie feet.
So honk first. Honk is Dan's maid, right? That his honk is his princess, his parade.
My flat ground parade princess.
She can ride in the mountains.
Mm-hmm. But she likes parades.
So having them be trimmed in all 3 donkeys showed us something afterwards. Like that really stood out to me, because each one knew what they were showing us.
And I watched as Honk got trimmed. I won't say it was a bad angle or way too much hoof wall. I think what set her back on that, what made her out, she was ouchy for weeks. I mean, she ate and drank. She didn't do nothing for a couple, 3 weeks. Is that I think too much sole was taken off her foot.
We're only guessing. We don't know what caused it. We
Yeah.
really don't know what caused it.
Yep.
But we do know how she acted.
Yep.
So right away, it's good to leave them tied up at the hitching post, guys. So after they got trimmed, we left Aw and Honk the donkey tied up to the hitching post for a few hours. Mm-hmm. And when you led her away, start from there. When you led her away from the hitching post.
Oh, she's walking barefoot like jacks or nails or something. I mean, she
wouldn't put her weight on her foot.
Yeah. She was crippled.
Mm-hmm. And after, I don't know, 10 steps or so, she started putting her weight on.
Right?
So we're like, well, it was just us. She's okay. But then out in the pasture, we would notice.
We noticed a couple of weeks she didn't do nothing. She stood by a round bale, which wasn't too far from water, and ate and drank and didn't do nothing for a couple of weeks.
And she would stand
At-
oddly
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Lots of laying down. Yeah. And again, I watched the hoof wall as the farrier's trimming. He didn't go crazy trimming hoof wall. I mean, she was long. She needed a trim. I suspect the pain from taking too much of that sole off.
It could be.
You know, like if she's doing horses, and it's like, okay, well, let's trim this out like a horse.
So it could be the too much sole removed, or the hoof angles changed too much, or bruising or abscesses, or something else completely. Now like often if there's an abscess, you can see it blow out, and later on there's like pus or something that comes out. She never had that.
Right.
So even though it could have been, I didn't see anything to show
Right.
that it was an abscess. But she didn't want to walk normally right after her trim. Later on, she was standing sprawled out, which is a sign of their feet hurting. She lay down more than, and then after, I don't know, a month or whatever, she was just completely fine back to normal. And she was picking up her feet just like a good little girl, right?
Yep.
I say little, and she's not little.
So what would cause an abscess or stone bruise? It would be too much sole taken off. You get an abscess or stone bruise on a hoof wall.
It could have been there beforehand, and like, theoretically, it's possible. Like, because we just don't know for sure. We never had the farrier come back out to check it out. We were just watching her. But if we were like riding hard or in rocky country, she could have got stone bruise, or if she was running around in the pasture. However, she wasn't being rode ahead of time, so I don't think it was a stone bruise or an abscess, and it's just a guess. I think it was.
Right.
But those would be possibilities to cause soreness.
Right.
And then when I went to go grab her next time, and like I said, we do not pick up our every single day, but every time we do pick them up, we make sure we get to their mind. And once we have their mind, then they seem to be good. So the next time I went and got it was during a clinic, and I was using her to demonstrate being good with her hind left foot. So notice that, because that's Honk's funny foot when she's upset about something. Was funny with her hind left foot, and she was bad with that foot for 2 sessions, different days, which was interesting. So when she gets naughty with where she wants to kick, or she leans on me really hard, I get a soft rope, and then I work on getting her to pick it up lightly, and I do it enough she's light and she's holding herself up, and then after that I will pick it up and put it on my knee, and if she's all nice and light and calm, then we're done. Then she's all done for the session. But it was interesting that it took her 2 sessions. Okay, I feel like you've heard me now for whatever she was upset about. Now with when the farrier was out, he did mention that he trimmed her heels too short. So maybe she was just saying, you know what, last time you messed with my feet, I didn't feel good. The angles made me hurt.
Yep.
So it's not that a short heel is definitely going to cause some kind of a behavior, but the behavior changed after her trim. Knowing that the farrier had said that he cut her heels a little bit too short made me think about this again. And then there's Seamus. So Seamus, we've had Seamus for 11 years. He's an old pro with his feet. He stands like a statue for the farrier.
He sure does.
He
Yeah.
didn't always, guys. He used to be a little more testy with his feet. He actually got a farrier long ago. So the left hind foot with Seamus too. When I went to go get him, we were riding him in a parade. So I went and grabbed Seamus and started cleaning his feet. And lo and behold, it felt like I was trying to pick up a boulder. And Seamus isn't like as light as and Honk. Well, and the wilds are that we're teaching, because we've learned new ways, right?
Right.
Seamus picks up his feet good, and he stands nice and still and like a statue. But it was like trying to pick up a boulder, and he's not normal. And so with Seamus, I had to work him through. So then it's every time I ask and he shifts his weight, I'll release and then ask again, and release, ask again. And so I did that enough times that he would pick up his foot on his own, and then he was back to normal. One session of saying, I see that you're upset about something. And It doesn't mean that it's necessarily over the trim, but it makes me wonder. So why the left hind foot, guys? For Honk the Donk, when she's upset about something, it's the left hind foot. Ah and Seamus, all three of them, it's the left hind foot.
Why do you think that is?
I was kind of wondering if it was like something that had, and they're processing on the right side of the brain, but I've researched it and that doesn't hold up. So I don't think that's, I don't know why.
Is there a reason or is it coincidence? We don't know.
Does anybody know a reason?
Yeah, if you guys know, let us know.
Because it's interesting, and it's our 3 riding donkeys that I've noticed that with. No other donkeys. So Seamus, the first time it happened, we were riding in Arizona. We were doing like 10 miles a day. And when I went to go clean his foot the next day that we were riding, he was kicky with that hind left foot. That was the first time I ever experienced that.
Huh.
And then like poor riding or incorrect spur use, left hind foot, he would protest. Needing a chiropractor one time, he was with that left hind. No, that was his right hind that day.
Okay.
That wasn't his left hind. And then the recent trim was his left hind.
Okay. We had the donkey we gentled, one of the donkeys we gentled for the Adolphs. One of those donkeys, the problem foot was the rear left. I remember working with that donkey and having my right arm stretched out working on that. I had to help me. So that one there was the left foot, rear left issue.
And now that one wouldn't be for any kind of riding thing
Heck
ahead of
no,
time.
that was just nature right there.
You know, it could be like right-handed dominance versus left-handed dominance. It could be nothing more than that,
Yeah.
but it really does make me wonder.
Seems to be a pattern or quite a coincidence going.
Yes, absolutely. We noticed her left hind being funky when I felt like it was too much stress the ride before. And she's not, I mean, she's done it some, but it's never been from until this time where I could associate it with the trim. Before that, I think it was just, I stressed her out too much. And then Honk, since we brought her home, it's been her left hind that's been foot.
Yep.
Now, when we brought her home, she had severely overgrown feet. So we called up the vet, and the vet had a farrier meet us. We were going to sedate her and then do her feet.
Right.
And he ended up by doing them with no sedation.
Yeah, hobble on one leg, I think.
You know, that was kind of cool to see because recently Nula had a crack in her foot. I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to get this fixed. And I hadn't started working with her feet yet. So when the vet was over doing preg testing, we had her sedate Nula and we trimmed her feet. Hard work to trim her feet when she was sedated.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
She wasn't nervous or pulley. She was just heavy, wasn't she?
Yeah. So then it was like trying to hold up, you know, like even if you say that their body weight is divided up evenly, and let's say she weighs 600 pounds. So we're trying to hold up 150 pounds while I'm trimming her foot. That was a workout.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So that's why I think a vet or a farrier does not like to trim when they are sedated. But we did bring Honk in just to do that because we did not know what to expect. And she wasn't ready even for us to pick up her feet.
Yeah.
So now 2 years of patient with Honk, and she's good with her feet now. You know, we used to always use oats, and even when the farrier is out, we'll use oats to help make sure that experience is good. We're really trying to lay a good foundation so it's lasting. And I watched Hannah clean her feet a couple, 2-3 weeks ago, and it was no big deal, no oats. Hello from Colorado. Thank you for truly helps with my first donkey ever. You are so welcome. Thanks for joining us from Colorado. So Honk the Donk, we always used oats. We always use oats with all of them, except for Nula because of the experiment. And if you don't know about the experiment, it's on member training Nula with no oats and Nuda with oats. So Honk the Donk's getting her oats, her feet handled, and she's not very good with it. We call up the vet, get her trimmed, and then we go on to working with her feet. And she's always been a little sticky with her hind left.
Yep.
So we go slow at her speed, and it might take 15 minutes to get one foot done.
With Honk, if you go at her speed, she's great. If you decide we need to get this done now, it's going to get a little bit interesting.
You know, I think that goes a lot into the mindset, because we get down, we're like, I got a job to do, I got to do this, and then I got to go cook dinner or change the oil or whatever. I have to throw hay, whatever it is. And so we get a timeline, hurry up and do something, and they don't have a timeline at all.
right?
They're just like,
Yeah,
"My
what's your hurry? Yeah.
donkey time."
Donkeys are not known for hurrying.
No,
Yeah,
they're
no.
not. They're not.
You know, like with our new farrier, we'll I think with the old fellow who retired on us out of Billings, um, we actually showed him how to lift up Honk's foot. Yeah, it can be done. Because if you go like with Honk's left foot, her rear left foot, if you go at first speed, like give me that foot, and you're trying to get her lifted in 20 seconds, she could kick. You know, I'm pretty sure I could go down there right now and take that left foot, and I can get her to kick just by simply going too fast. You pointed it out to me. Slow down and wait.
Yes. So when we're slowing down and wait, what we mean by that is, we're checking in. When we're teaching them, I do the countdown: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D, pay. The
Yep.
countdown is just petting them, so I know that they're okay with touch, right? Because before we can pick up their feet, we have to be able to touch all parts of their leg. Then we teach them to pick it up when we ask for it, and then after that, we hold it for like an eighth of a second. And I really do mean that. Like now with Nula, I'm trying to touch her leg like with 2 fingers. So we just graduate to all of this stuff little by little, and then start putting it inside of our knee. So when your farrier comes out, they need to be able to put the donkey's legs, the front legs, in between their legs. That's a very dangerous spot.
It is. Yeah.
So we need your donkeys to be already okay and comfortable with that. And we home very easily. You don't need any special tools.
Yep.
And so when we start asking and we put our hands around their leg, I don't know, what would you call that? Like a tendon at the bottom? Kind of like a tendon there.
Yeah, I call it tendon. Yeah.
So I just put my hands around it. Sometimes I have no pressure at all, and other times I have to squeeze. So it depends. Depends on the donkey.
Right.
But when I am squeezing, as soon as there's a shift in weight, I open my hand. So I squeeze. I don't move my hand. Squeeze, open, and then they'll just pick it up. It's like, whoa, like magic.
If you could bottle that process that you do, you'd be a billionaire. Yeah,
I'd
you've
like
got.
to be a billionaire.
Yeah, you've got quite a talent that
Thank you. Thank you.
it's challenging trying to replicate it.
It's easy to want too fast.
Mm-hmm. We're doing great. Let's go faster.
That happens.
Uh-huh.
I was working with Ding, so Ding Dong. They're going to be on donkeys. They don't have homes yet, but they will one day.
Mm-hmm.
They're not graduated yet, but they're going to be so awesome packing donkeys. So I'm working with Ding's hind right foot. That was his kicky foot, his hind right.
Ding's kicky foot is his hind right. Good to know.
Yeah. So, and this was with the long brush. The long brush is a great time to tell you want to kick or bite. Bite the long brush, not me. And if they go to biting or kicking the long brush, all it means is they're too fast. We haven't made sure their mind is comfortable
Right.
and scap with what we're doing.
Yep.
That's what we want.
We've had some great donkeys bite the long stick, the long brush, early in their training. We narrow naughty donkeys. It's just like you said, we're going a bit fast.
I think that's a really good point. Just because they bite the long stick or the long brush does not mean they're bad or that they go to kick at it.
Right.
It doesn't mean they're bad at all. You have not prepared them.
Yep. You've gone a little bit too far, too fast. Back up, slow down. And like I said, we've had great donkeys that started off biting and kicking.
Now, donkeys continue to kick or bite. I kind of just find that I need to slow down. That's the process that I need to do. I do sometimes use a soft rope, and I get them to pick it up on their own with very little pressure, just with making the rope would be that's my goal, is if the rope is straight, they pick up their foot and they understand. And then I get them to hold it up for an eighth of a second and then a second and then long enough for me to step in there and hold and rub their leg before I'm like stepping in there to get kicked. And then sometimes I will do it through the fence, and it's the same process, but without the rope.
Right. It's nice when it happens that way.
It is nice. And they'll get the fence. When they understand they get this food pay, we use rolled or crimped oats. When they understand, get that, I'll be working with, because we have a lot, we're working with like 10 at a time. So I'll be working with 1 in 1 pen. Squirrel stands out to me because he took longer months to get him where he was doing all the stuff. And he was really keen with intent. And I would just get him to come up along the fence. Then I would put my arm through it. You got to be careful so that you're not hurting your arm or get something. Gotta be careful. I put my arm through, and then I would start petting, and then I would try to wiggle and jiggle. And then if he kicked, I would just walk away, and he would be like, "Oh, I don't get any pay now." And I'm like, "No, sorry, buddy." And then he compressed, and he would come back for more.
Yep. I'll try again.
And sometimes he'd rock it, and sometimes he wouldn't. And when he was rocking it long enough, then it's like, okay, I'm brave enough to come stand beside you.
Yep.
But slow, knock on wood, I haven't had any actually try to kick me.
Yes, they let you know that they could kick you.
Right,
I can kick.
right.
You know, there's Squirrel, talking about him, you know, man, that dude could kick.
He could kick.
But with patience and time, slowing way down to like 1/100 speed, you got him to where it was no big deal to pick up those hind feet.
And we trimmed all 4 feet. That's on video. If you look under the feet, it's a longer one. I don't know if it's like 30 minutes or an hour and 30, where we recorded trimming all 4 feet and just how slow, how many breaks he got.
Right?
And if we didn't let him know we were coming, do you remember once I was trying to point to you where I was, and I went straight down to his foot, and when I did that, he got scared. He about jumped out of his skin. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but he got scared. And every time I go like this, he's fine. But when I went straight to his leg, he's like, ah!
Yeah, that's starting up high and working their way down. You know, that's just letting them know what's coming. What she's talking about is just out of the blue touched that lower leg. And there was no pre-cue that it was coming. And yeah, he was not impressed.
He was not impressed. Now, if I touched Seamus's leg like that, Seamus would not care.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah. But Seamus has been there, done that.
Yep.
And Squirrel was a 21-year-old wild burro. Yeah, history of being wild and being his own man and not answering to anybody and not even having to work with other people.
Yes, and he's got scars all over him from standing on the ground. Yeah,
Yes.
he didn't get pushed around in the wild.
And he was a big old teddy bear. You know, he was more timid. He was more timid. Not as timid as Elton. Elton was really timid.
But once Squirrel came around, he got to be Mr. Huggy Bear. You know, and the very last thing to come around was those back feet. But they came around. I mean, yeah, hang in there.
So going slow and then being an intentional, right? So when I would go down there and I would lay awake at night, guys, like, how am I going to get through to Squirrel, or how am I going to get through to Richard? Like, my harder ones are thin. And so every time I do that, I come back to, I need to slow down. Now, slowing down, you might use, you might go through the fence. You might be using your hand, standing alongside of them. Maybe you're using a soft rope. But none of those are to force what we want them to do.
Right.
It's just a way to help keep yourself safe.
Yep.
So slowing down doesn't mean force.
Yep.
Now, if I'm using the long rope, sometimes I am pulling a foot.
Well, you're also, in doing that, you're giving a very clear communication.
Clarity, it's one of the 5 C's.
Yes.
My donkeys have this weird, like, whoops. Where did it go? My donkeys have this weird, like, stress twitch thing. Have you noticed this? I never did. Yes, they do it. It's like a protest, in my experience.
Okay, about a twitch?
Yeah.
What part of their body twitches?
Any part. It seems, I mean, unless it's a fly landing on them. I think it's a protest.
Okay, yeah.
Seamus will do it sometimes under saddle, or he got kicked. I put spurs on my kid, and I'm like, kick him and let's make him go fast. That was dumb.
That didn't work. No.
That was so, I shouldn't have done that. Seamus, when I would get on him, and then I would touch him with my spur, like during a clinic, trying to move the individual feet. So I was not kicking him, I was touching him, and he would kick out with one hind leg at nothing. It was a protest. Who else? Atlas did it when we got up onto his back. He would twitch.
Yes, Atlas was a twitcher, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a not necessarily a wild donkey trait, as a donkey trait.
Yeah, because Seamus isn't wild.
Yeah. Sometimes they have a different idea than the idea you're suggesting. And there's a bit of a controversy about how long they're going to take to decide to do what you're asking. And when they realize that you're going to make them do it anyway, then they get a little frustrated and they'll throw a little silly kick off to the side, or
The
twitch. Or yeah, they'll it's kind of fine.
When your kid goes to clean their room, even though they don't want to.
You're going to go to bed at 8 o'clock, lest you clean your room. Fine.
So if you see the twitch, know that their mind is not with you right now.
Mhm.
So you might stay where you're at and just really quit on one where their mind is really nice and soft and like willing. That doesn't mean you have to stop what you're doing. You might need to back up and you might need to stay where you're at. But either way, if you back up or stay where you're at, stop when they're really nice and light.
Yes.
I think that's the key to everything with donkeys.
And that's the hard part. Everything's going good. It's getting real light. You're like, heck yeah. To third base, let's make a home run. And then you probably should have just stayed at third base because that's what tomorrow's for.
When we brought in Elton to trim him and we did 1 foot one day, we pushed it and got 2 feet the second day. And then the pardon me, I can't count. The 4th foot took us 3 more days to trim it. It was every time we came in, he was not light. So we would get him light and be like, good job, buddy. You did a good job and now you could be done. Good boy.
Yeah.
So, and that's worth it. So prepare your donkey long before the farrier is going to come over.
Yep.
And if you know what else we've done is we've paid our farrier a farrier trimming fee just for our donkey's feet.
We have. But what that means is we've had the farrier here to trim our critters, horses, donkeys, mules, whatever the heck need, the velociraptors don't need to be trimmed. There may be an animal that's quite ready to have its feet trimmed, but we'll introduce the farrier to the animal and just have him pick up that animal's feet, and we'll pay him to do that. Because then in 6 or 8 weeks when he comes back, and we've been working with the animal, now that's going to be somewhat familiar. He's met the farrier before, so it reduces that stranger danger some. So it's worth every penny if your farrier's willing to do that.
And it's worth it to take care of our farriers. If you have a farrier coming out to do your donkeys or your horses or your mules, we don't want to take advantage of them. It's not their job to train. It's not their job to have to deal with kicky or bitey or animals that lean or walk off, like any of that. It's not their job, guys. We have to prepare them.
Absolutely. You guys have to help us out because we have a lot of donkeys that need trimming. Let's keep farriers friendly to the donkey world. Okay?
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that, like with our wilds, we don't have the farrier trim our wilds right now, but
Nope.
our wilds are not here. Well, I should explain that more. We used to adopt them and then they would be here for a year. So then by between 6, 8 months, we would start introducing the donkey to the farrier. We really don't have donkeys here anymore though.
Right.
Okay.
But every now and then we have donkeys that they're near the end of their program here, and before they go home, their feet are looking a little long. So MaryJo's been really good about us giving them their first before they go home.
Now, the reason that happened was it was our 3rd set of donkeys that we got for wilds, and we brought home 7, and they were long. These guys were long, and one of them had a
they
crack.
got here long. Yeah.
One of them had a crack. Farrier's like, that needs to be done. He's like, I was working with her, but she was not ready for her first trim. So we talked about sedation. I think farriers just really don't like to use sedation. Now we know it's because you're holding up a quarter of their weight at least. And so he says, you know what? Sometimes you could just tie them up and they'll set back and then get their feet trimmed. And he did it. We tied her up. She set back. He trimmed all 4 of her feet. And after that, I couldn't catch her for like 2 months. So that set us way far back.
Big time, yeah.
Now, I think we could do that over if we had to and really work on getting our mind nice and willing to be with doing what we're doing. If I had to do it over again, right? And then we had, Blackjack and Joker. One of those 2 needed to be trimmed. And I could pick up his feet really good. Like, he was really good. He did not care. He did not have fear. Okay, let's have the farrier do this one too. He picked up 1 foot and that donkey was like, nope, I don't know you. You can't have my feet.
Stranger, nope.
So then after that happened, the farrier started teaching us how to trim feet. So we are not farriers, but we have just enough knowledge to be dangerous.
Yes, to do light little trims.
So filing them, like light little trims, you can get a clipper and with your farrier supervision, do like a light little trim or filing, because that's a big part of it. I think filing is scarier to them, the noise and the vibration than clipping.
The vibration is quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So filing them, you can do a lot to, I mean, at least a reasonable amount. You can do that to prepare them.
Yes.
I mean, don't go file their foot gone, but, well, MaryJo said, no, no, no. But you can get them used to it and comfortable with it yourself. Now, introducing them to the file, we put the file on their foot and it's like, whoop, how that? We put their foot down. One little tiny thing.
Yeah, one little, yep.
And then I'll do it like on the whole flat of their foot. So the flat of their foot. And I'll do like one scrape. Then we give them their foot back and be like, how are you? Are you okay? Are you okay, honey bun? Oh, that's one of my friend's mules' names. Okay. So, and then I'll do it again and it'll be like 2 reps. And I'm giving them their foot back saying, you don't have to tolerate this forever. And then they're kind of telling me, are they leaning away? Are they getting tense or stiff or pulling or shifting? Because all of those things are communicating how they're feeling. And if those things, then I can go to town just filing away.
Right.
Now, Dan's the odor. I'm the footer. Thank you. I'm the footer and Dan's the odor. And the odor has a very serious job. Don't think it's just feeding oats because it's not. Talk about doing.
Yeah, when MaryJo's trimming or filing, I'm watching the speed at which the donkey's taking oats from my hand. Watching for more aggressive chomping, feeling teeth. I'm watching Hilda swish, and I'm trying to call MaryJo off before we've gone too far. So I'm like, an example would be, okay, he's doing good, he's eating steady. Okay, he just got chompy, stop. And then MaryJo will gently put the foot down. So it's my job to watch the body language of the donkey so that we don't accidentally go too far. To make it, if we can stop before we've gone too far every time.
Then we're telling them, I see you are nervous.
Yep.
Let's take a break. Now, other things that you're watching for, are they chewing their oats or are they not chewing their oats? Are they delayed in taking their food? It's pay, guys, because it's not for being cute. So if they're delayed or if they slow down in eating or they're chewing and then they stop chewing.
They stop, all of a sudden ears are back on MaryJo, a tail swishing. It's like, it's time for MaryJo to stop.
So then he calls it out. Stop, they need a break. And I want to be able to give them a break before they've reacted. If I can give them a break thinking that they're nervous, I'm getting to their mind.
Yep.
Another one you do sometimes is sometimes they'll go to pull away and you will hang on to that lead rope.
Mm-hmm.
Can't always do that. So we were doing Nula and I did her front right foot and, pardon me, not Nula, Nuda. So we did her front right foot, and Dan's been working with her more than I have. And then you went to go pick, because I didn't even remember where that one was at. And you tried to put it between legs.
Yep.
That didn't go very well.
No, that was hero complex. Hey, that one's so good. Let's sort of like.
Somebody here?
Well, there's an imaginary mailman pulling up, I think.
You keep talking.
Yeah, there's nobody over there.
So Dan thought he was going to be able to put, we have to prepare their legs between our legs, like the farrier does for trimming. They don't just they're not automatically okay with that weird angle.
Right.
And so when I do it, I start with touching the outside of my knee and then the back of my knee, and then I'll put it inside of my knee for a second, get it back. And I think you just weren't paying attention to her feelings, and then she sat back and she pulled away and she
I was just like, that other side went so well, let's knock this one out. I ignored everything. I think all the signs were there.
After that happens, because things go wrong, guys, I'm not immune to it. I do things wrong all the time. After they go wrong, get back to their mind. Don't dwell on it like, oh my gosh, I screwed up. Nope, just get back to their mind. So that day, I think we probably switched and I went to be the footer again.
Yeah, we went, you got several yeses from that same foot, and then we gave her a break.
But the yes was not putting it in my leg.
Right.
It was just picking it up and having her mind be willing. Because if you don't have their mind, it doesn't matter if you can put it in between your legs for a second. And being able to pick it up and have them be light for 1/8 of a second is more important than putting it between our leg.
Right. Yep.
By doing that, I think that's why I'm able to break the rule of picking up your donkey's feet every single day. I'm not recommending don't pick up your feet every day, but I can tell you what, if you go out and you pick up your donkeys every single day and you don't have their mind, you're not gonna improve their willingness.
Right.
If you go out and you pick up your donkey's feet, just say once a week, but you go slow enough that you have their mind, you're gonna have it again.
Yep.
Now, just because you had it last month or last year does not mean you have it today. You have to go with that same mindset every time of getting your mind and having them be light.
Yep. Absolutely.
I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't recommend. I recommend that you pick up your donkey's feet every day. We don't, because we have 9 out in the pasture and then like 10 in the training pens.
It'd be a full-time job, just picking up feet.
Yeah, all I would do. And that's half of what I am doing. Like with the 4 that we're working on, it's feet
Yep.
all around.
Been a lot of feet picking up and going on last week.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Does your donkey do something weird with its feet? Does it pick up the front ones easy or the hind ones easy? Everybody's afraid of their hind feet, and they're harder to get their mind with their fronts.
Yes.
Most of the time, not always, but
Yeah, back legs are, to me, the back legs are scarier, but front legs are tougher.
wiggle and jiggle, guys, if you're talking about with that. I got bug spray. Why do I have bug spray? Because there's no bugs here.
It tastes so good.
Yeah. So if I'm trying to pick this up and I have to do a death grip to pick it up, it's often too much pressure. You don't have their mind, okay? So if it feels like you're picking a shoulder, that's too much.
Yes.
Go with that pressure and release. Front feet are easier, back legs can be dangerous. They absolutely can be dangerous. Absolutely. Back legs are more dangerous than the front legs, although they can strike with their
But there
fronts,
seems to be less resistance with back legs than front
Yeah.
legs. With wilds, early on in their training, yeah. But those back legs, yeah, those are a couple of cannons back there.
We had one kick. It was a rescue donkey that we took on, and he was picking up for us, you and I and Hannah. So there's 3 people, plus there's some strangers that picked up his feet. So now there's 4 people. The snot out of the farrier and rolled him. So don't underestimate hind feet. Get their mind. And there was a lot of variables going on there. Like there was dogs, and I had just picked up that donkey's feet and it was fine. There was dogs, and the farrier went a little bit faster, so slowing down.
Yeah.
And I have been like speaking up for that donkey more than I did. Because when I saw so the donkey was doing the side eye at the dogs. And if you know your donkey's mind is not with you or the farrier,
Right.
it's with whatever it's sign, so have a break. If you have multiple animals, you could have your donkey tied up that's new or still learning, and you have the farrier go back and forth between 2 animals. They need a lot of breaks to process. That could be a way to help with a new animal. But wiggle and jiggle. So once you can, will you hang on to these for me? Once you can pick up their foot, so this is their foot, okay? So once you can pick it up, can I slide it 1/8 of an inch? That's how high I'm picking it up to begin with, 1/8 of an inch, okay? Can I go this way and go in a little circle? Because sometimes when I'm doing this kind of thing, they will start to get upset. If I can't do this, I'm not going to get it up on my knee, not well.
Right.
So that's the wiggle and the jiggle. When they get really nice and light, you can just go bop, 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 and you can wiggle it and jiggle a whole bunch. There's other steps before you get to that, though, so make sure you're doing all of the steps.
Absolutely. Well said, MaryJo.
Thank you. The jiggle.
The wiggle and jiggle.
I think that's our favorite one, the wiggle and the jiggle.
Yeah. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah.
Do I have other things I was supposed to talk about? Because I forget. All right, let's see. So the left hind, we talked about that, but I would be very curious to find out why it's the left hind. Your donkey that's, you said the back feet are dangerous and it's kicky with its back. Is it kicky with its back left or back right? No. Now, we don't know why all 3 of our donkeys were acting funky after the last farrier visit, but anytime your donkey's behavior changes, I want you guys to be what is different?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's detective work to do. Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, with I know because the farrier said, "Oh, I trimmed her heels a little too short," so that could be why. And I'm saying could be because I'm detective. I'm trying to be Sherlock Holmes, and I could be wrong. but it could be from her heels being short.
Yes.
Seamus, he never said anything about doing Seamus too short, but Seamus is not normally like trying to pick up boulders with his hind
Right.
feet. So as a detective, I'm going to say it could be related to the farrier visit. And the donk, definitely, because it was right after she got trimmed. But be a detective. It could be riding. It could be you went on a long hike and their feet are sore. It could be that there was a rattlesnake in the yard. We don't know, but you have to try to be detective.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you can do that and the better you know your animals, the better you're going to know what they're thinking. Like you can feel confident that you know what they're thinking.
Yep.
It takes time.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of know what I'm thinking after being married for 31 years. I can't slip a lot by you. So it does happen. It does get to kind of know what they're thinking.
Yep.
Let's see. Looking at my notes again, guys.
Those really kind of bind things together, those notes. They do a good job, so.
Yeah, otherwise I just get sidetracked. Okay, so then. Okay, that one is done. I did all the things on here. All right. Okay, so 5 C's. That was the next thing I was going to talk about. So the 5 C's are curiosity. I made them up and then I can't remember them. Curiosity, clarity.
Chocolate cake?
It's not chocolate cake.
Okay.
Curiosity, clarity, and I got to remember the third one. And then we're working towards getting connection and cooperation. Comfort. Comfort is the other one. Okay, curiosity, clarity, and comfort. So whenever I have something not go well, I'm trying to decide, a detective again, which thing am I missing? Are they uncomfortable? Do they actually hurt? Because that could be a reason why your donkey is kicky.
Yeah.
I got kicked by one of Hannah's donkeys one time. That donkey had like soft feet and was always getting abscesses. And it kicked me, had its foot up on its back foot on its leg. And that donkey was in pain. So maybe if your donkey is in pain, you can adjust things like shorter, picking it up shorter, or really releasing with their mind. I mean, we should do that always, but. So if they're uncomfortable, what can you do to help them be comfortable? Clarity, like we're working with these new wilds, they don't know what I'm asking. It's like a game. I put the brush down by your leg and I count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They don't know what I want them to do. Or when I say foot, they don't know when they pick up their foot with that long brush, when they pick up their foot really, really fast, or they swish their, or maybe they do that flinching thing that we were talking about a little bit ago. That's all like a little test. Like, I'm annoyed that you have that long brush down there by my foot. Okay? And then after they have clarity and understanding, they'll just pick it up like, give me my pay.
Yeah, here's your foot.
Yeah. But all that other stuff, if they're kicking, picking it up fast, swishing their tail, they get more chompy. They'll be, there's a bee, but they'll get more chompy.
One of my favorites is hiding the foot.
Oh, gosh.
Hide the foot. So put it over like behind their other leg.
Right? So they got their 2 legs here, like they're standing here. My papers are all gonna fall. Okay, so they're standing like here and you pick up their foot and they go.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
So put it back in behind your other foot. Yeah.
I love it. And then the other thing they do when they're all getting scapped, so it's soft, centered, and punctual. They'll like, let's say Dan's working with this foot. They'll go with this, I'm ready.
Uh-huh. They will.
Hurry up.
On a lighter side, with these, once they start getting the footwork, and they're not scared, they're trying to get good at it, and they're like giving you a, you ask, say, are you ready? And they give their foot over there, and you go ahead and pick up that foot, and the hind leg comes up, or the hind leg, and they go ask for a hind leg, and the front leg goes up. It's fun watching them trying to know which foot you're asking for, because they make mistakes. It's really cute. You'll see them shift around and lift the wrong foot.
And we release for the shift. Release for their thinking. We're rewarding them trying to figure it out.
Yep.
For the shift.
But not the wrong foot.
At first you can. At the very, very beginning you can.
Yeah, I guess we do. Okay,
Like-
they tried something.
1 or 3 times and then have to do a little bit more.
Yeah, then you can watch them lean and guess which foot. Even though you might have your hand on your foot, don't take it for granted. They're trying to figure out. It's kind of like when you do this with your hands. You bring your fingers around and you have someone pointing at a finger, like move that there. it's gonna take me a while to figure out
That's the wrong
which
one.
one it is. Yeah.
The other one for that is like curiosity and motivation. So if your donkey is like really, really nervous, nervousness, and part of it's probably because we had her sedated by the stranger vet, right? So she's being a little bit
Yep.
nervous. So she has curiosity and she'll like smell my face and tickle me with her whiskers. But then when I put her head down, when I put my hand down to pet her legs, she starts to get nervous. She goes into ostrich mode. Now,
What's ostrich mode?
it's when they put, just like an ostrich puts their head down in the hole.
Nose almost in the dirt.
Yeah.
Like, I give up. I can't do this anymore. I'm overwhelmed. I'm scared.
So when she does that, I try to reward her when she gets a little bit of curiosity again. And that could be an ear shifting towards me or an eye. And motivation part, the oats, I think, really a lot of good motivation. As long as you're using them correctly. You can use oats raw and slow everything down.
Yeah, you can have them get obsessed with the oats and just kind of go through the motions, but the teaching didn't stick. They're like, yeah, whatever, just give me the oats. And then it's like, they didn't study for this. It just went right over their head.
So to help with the oat stuff, making them tuck their head. When it's wild, I'll put my hand out and wait for them to come because they're so scared.
Yeah.
If I go towards them, they're going to come away, right? Or go away from me.
Yep.
But once they're scap with taking oats from your hand, they got to tuck their head, and that's going to help some. And then you can't pay them for the same thing all the time. Like at first, we're going to pay them for the wrong foot and then for shifting their weight. And then we're going to pay them for the countdown, but even get paid for the countdown. Eventually, the countdown kind of just happens simultaneously. So when I go to pick up their foot, I'm going to start at their shoulder or at their butt. And when I go down, I'm just imagining that I'm doing the countdown. If they start to shift away, that's my cue that they're mine with me.
Right.
So the oats can help them stay engaged. And then before we increase pressure, like using the soft rope or like squeezing more on the tender, pressing more with the long brush or something, ask why there's a change. Be a detective.
Yes. Your donkey needs you to be a detective. Absolutely.
Now, let's see. Oh, we're at closing thoughts, you guys. Behavior is information.
It really is. Those are your clues if you're a detective.
Sherlock Holmes. Maybe we should get a name at Sherlock, or I should change my name to Sherlock, and you can be Holmes, or you be Sherlock and I be Holmes. Or maybe we should just name a donkey Sherlock Holmes. Did he have a sidekick, Sherlock Holmes?
Probably. I don't know who it is.
Maybe you guys watched Sherlock Holmes. I haven't watched that in a million years.
I think it was Beaver Cleaver.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So.
Okay, a detective from the time was Dick Tracy.
Oh yeah. I like that. Dick Tracy and Sherlock Holmes on the scene to train your donkeys. Okay. Behavior is information, guys. We've had donkey years and we're still learning. This last farrier visit actually taught us a ton about how 3 donkeys responded differently to being, I think it's related to the farrier visit. And the lesson's not simply about hoof trimming. It's about how they act, how they communicate.
Yep.
I hear a donkey hee-hawing down there.
They say it's dinner time.
So it's about knowing what is normal for your donkey. So when there's something that is different, that we are willing to ask what's changed, trying to tell me. And that's the thing I want you guys to go away with. What does your donkey try to tell you? Try to be Sherlock Holmes or Dick Tracy. And then release when their mind is soft. I think that if you can get those things, your donkey is just, they're going to do backflips for you.
Absolutely.
So if you guys have other questions, throw them. But otherwise, I think we're going to have to go feed our donkeys dinner.
Yeah. You tell him what Seamus did last?
He loped. Yes, I said loped. Oh my gosh.
Oh, White Lightning.
White Lightning. You made a song up.
I did. Don't ask me to do it now because it was impromptu. I had to memorize it.
Well, I'll have a video coming out about it. I'm doing one that's kind of like a general overview for the public, and then I'm doing one that's more in depth about what we're doing, how we're doing it. adult. And so I'm actually working on those today. But we're having him chase the side by side because he likes oats. And I loped with him. Do you remember how many times it was?
7.
That was on the last day. 3 days we did it, but the last day we did 7 times. I loped him. Then Dan gave him oats, and he went into the lope a lot easier. And then we were able to get him to do it a lot longer. And when I say a lot longer, that meant like 5 or 10 strides.
Right.
Yeah. So it's baby steps.
Yep. Cool.
It was so cool. I've been like on cloud 9 ever since. And that's only like the 4th time. Like these days, we 4 or 5 or something like that I've loped on him. So this is new. I've asked him before. I always just thought I couldn't, but I can.
He can do it. Oh, white lightning. Yep.
He's kind of like the pokiest donkey. He does this little donkey shuffle. Very pokey, very safe. But he's been doing pretty cool things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hopping on. I hope these tips help you with your donkeys. Get to their mind. Be like Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Get to their. I had other ones. What else? Behavior is information. But do that stuff, and your donkey's gonna love you for it.
Absolutely. I love that. Behavior is information. Those are clues. Information is a clue. Might be an obvious one, or you might have to really break out your magnifying glass.
Totally.
Scrutinize what's going on.
I
There's
lay
always a
awake
reason.
at night trying to think and figure out these guys.
Yes.
So, all right, guys. You guys have an awesome Sunday, and thank you again for joining us.
You bet. You guys have a good night.